In 2014, we witnessed firsthand value and impact of male educators of color on students of color. We know that 2% of teachers in public schools are men of color and leave the classroom at a rate 5 times higher than any other group. Even though mountains of research proves the positive outcomes educators of color have on students of color, we do not have an education system that is representative. That just ain't right. There are national diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts from schools and districts to recruit men of color into education. However, the real challenge is retaining men of color rather than recruiting. So we decided to develop a sustainable solution to the absence of male educators of color by creating Profound Gentlemen. We completed year 5 of building communities of male educators of color and retaining educators who dismantle the cradle-to-prison pipeline by establishing a cradle-to-career pipeline for boys of color. Let's take you through our journey of impact. Year 1, the co-founders started a GroupMe, and out of the GroupMe, Profound Gentlemen was born. 100 male educators joined, and we retained 100% of our educators for the first time. In year 2, we hired our first staff member, grew to 200 male educators, introduced the cohort model, and retained 93% of our educators. Year 3, we expanded to more regions, reaching 250 educators and retaining 98% of our male educators of color. We also created more intimate cohorts to support our commitment to strong relationships. In year 4, our impact leaders increased to 20 seasoned male educators of color who provided 300 male educators of color with one-on-one coaching, mentorship, and professional development opportunities. We are proud of the work we accomplished in the first 4 years, and we are still breaking barriers in education and creating equitable spaces for male educators of color. So, how did we ensure our educators thrived in year 5? We created a more targeted approach to supporting our educators based on their years in education. We provided 500 male educators of color ongoing coaching, professional development workshops, and mentorship, where 90% of gentlemen achieved all their development goals with the support of their impact leader. 35% of our gentlemen were offered leadership roles to further their impact in the community. We connected over 300 male educators of color to leadership opportunities, filling over 60 educator vacancies across the nation. We secured 3 new district partnerships, reaching a total of 6 district partnerships, which allowed us to serve an additional 100 male educators of color. We raised $1,473,601.55, allowing us to cultivate male educators of color and create spaces where our educators can fully show up as themselves, fall in love with education, and align their purpose to impacting their community and the lives of boys of color. With the support of our community, we retained 98% of our male educators of color. This means that over 400 male educators of color are still in the profession, opening doors for boys of color and creating a lasting impact on their communities. We know that it takes a collective effort to create sustainable systemic change in the education profession. We are grateful for all of our supporters who help us build an education system that our students and educators deserve.